We're back. Whew, yeah, I was just holding my breath right there. Hoping to be back right in time. We're back, and we're going to talk about the Sprint. Now, how many of you out there are looking for a good, not just a mediocre, but a good, a cheap smartphone? You want something for your son or daughter going back to school, but children lose these $500-$600 phones. You're like, man, I can't buy another phone. They misplace it, leave it in their locker, leave it in their classroom, in the desk. Next set of children comes in, they see a Samsung Galaxy S4, they see a Galaxy Note, they see an Apple iPhone 5. They're not giving it back. They're like, man, this is mine now. They're not turning that into the lost and found. So there you go, boom, you're out. a good phone. Well, the Sprint Vital is launching tomorrow, June 14th, for $100. Now, this thing, let me give you a little bit of specs on this thing, because this phone is not, it's a cheap phone as far as $100. Now, this is all obviously with a 2-year commitment, because, Sprint is a commitment, but for $100 2-year commitment, you're getting a pretty decent phone. This is a 5-inch 720p display, so a high definition display right out of the gate. Straight away you get a good looking screen phone, and 5 inches, that's pretty hefty. It has a 13 megapixel camera, a 1.2 gigahertz dual core processor. Now the network has publicly unveiled the ZTE made device, confirming it's on course for tomorrow's launch and release. $100 with a 2-year contract. Now it's releasing with that 5-inch 720p IPS panel with Android Jelly Bean 4.1.2. The rear 13 megapixel camera is going to take crystal clear pictures, and it's paired with a weaker 1 megapixel front facing camera for video calls and so forth. It has a 2400, or to be more precise, 2460 milliamp battery. It comes with NFC. It has 8 gigabytes of internal storage, micro SD support for up to 64 gigabytes of storage. Now on paper, it's not too bad for that solid mid-range device, but how will the final product turn out? We're gonna have to see how people deal with this thing when it actually comes out. I'm going to show you a picture of it, but for those of you that are looking for a good mid-range phone, like I say, it's a dual core, so it's not like the Samsung Galaxy that has a quad core, and even some versions have 8 core in it. This one has a dual core 13 megapixel or rear facing camera, which is good for $100. If you're looking for a phone that you're not going to be sad if it's lost, or you're not gonna kill yourself, run into a wall if your child loses it, or even if you lose it, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna be, this is the phone right here. This is how it looks. This is the Sprint Vital. This is coming June 14th, or tomorrow, for those of us that are obviously keeping track with the dates. Tomorrow this thing is coming out with that 5-inch 720p display. So if you're looking for a good mid-range phone, you're someone that you don't need all the bells and whistles and frills. This thing gives you some bells, some whistles, some frills, but at a budget price. So if you're gonna re-sign with Sprint anyway, and you just don't want to get that complicated phone that has so much that you just can never know what to do, this one here might be for you. The Sprint Vital. You're hearing about it right here on Tech Pulse. This thing is coming out tomorrow. So just be, just be on your P's and Q's. Maybe that is something that you might want to get. Now, the materials printer, they're adding, different levels to this 3D printing. And we're going to show you a video of it. It's not necessarily impressive what the video is printing, but the fact that it can do it in 3D in front of your eyes using that anti-gravity technology that keeps the material, it hardens the material, but keeps it from falling before it has a chance to harden. This is another level. 3D printing just really came out, and they've already added another level to it. Now, this level of 3D printing isn't ready for the home use yet, but it's just showing us what is going to be possible. This materials 3D printing uses that anti-gravity object modeling technology that allows it to print in the air. When I say print in the air, as long as it has a base, it can print in the air, it can print from a wall, it can print, from, so it doesn't lose its shape or drop or anything. I mean, it seems to defy gravity when you look at this thing. Various things, and they're just showing basic things that they're printing, but imagine being able to print objects in a freestanding space, sculptures, print furniture, print things right there in a free space, not so you don't have to be tied to a printer, just like you have a printer in your house and you go in, you take the pictures, the papers out and so forth. This is showing you the next level, where this thing can create objects in a freestanding space. So let me go ahead and show you this video right here. We're going to show you, but I'm also just going to give you a little bit of history or a little information on it. Now, where existing 3D printers deposit tiny beads of melted plastic, solidify resin and ultraviolet light, to create and fuse powered material with laser beams and different things so that it gets that solid form. To form a part, these technologies typically require a flat tray where the work is done, because if it's in the air or leaning on something, it's going to fall apart. It needs time to harden. It needs time to, get solid so that it doesn't fall apart before you get it. The robot arm that does the printing for this 3D printing deposits a mix of thermoset polymers. The company is not saying which ones, but thermoset polymers that harden at the exact same time they're pushed out of the extruder. So immediately as they're pushed out, it hardens. So it allows objects to be printed in freestanding space. Now, like I say, the video here doesn't really show an object being printed so much as like art and different things like that. But when this thing becomes commercial grade, it's just going to be, imagine being able to print whatever size object you need. Because in a 3D printer right now, it's confined by the space, the size of the printer. It can only print according to the size of the printer. But if you have this freestanding 3D printer, it can print any size of whatever you're looking for. So let me just show you this real quick, because I mean this is just 3D printing just came out and advancements are already happening. Before people even know about 3D printing, it's being advanced. So let's go ahead and set this thing up here real quick. Let me make sure this is set. Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, let me go ahead and get that. Okay, good. This is looking good right now. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Final checks. Bringing this up. Oh yeah, I mean, just imagine being able to print any size object you want with this type of free standing. You're not confined by the size of the printer anymore. Here we go. Now I'm just going to enlarge this picture right here, so folks at home will be able to see this thing. Let me just a little more. Okay, I think that's good enough. I think you can see that right there. Here we go. Now immediately as this thing is being extruded, it's hardening. Right away, it hardens immediately. So it allows you to print things, like how it's coming out of a wall right there, and it's sticking to the wall because it's hardened and bonds to the material immediately. So imagine, now like I say, this is just showing you the 3D art of it, being able to print without falling, being able to print in freestanding space, because this thing is coming from a wall right now. But imagine being able to print any kind of furniture, or you need a camera stand, and you can print it as tall as you need it because it's not confined by the size of the printer. This is a freestanding printer. Now, obviously, like I say right now, this is not for consumer use. This is a commercial printer right now. And they're showing you what is possible. But, I mean, imagine being able to print whatever you want. I mean, look at how it can curve. And none of it's not falling down because it hardens immediately. Whereas with 3D printers right now, it takes time. A special resin has to be sprayed over it that hardens the material that has been melted and fused together. This thing hardens immediately. Like right now, as it's coming out, it's hard to touch right away. So imagine, and look at how tall it is. Imagine you want to print a lamp or a stand or a piece of furniture or something like that. You can do that in freestanding space. You know, not you don't have to get, well, if I want to print something big, I have to get a gigantic printer. No, this thing is in freestanding space. And imagine being able to print life-size parts, real life-size anything that you need. I mean, this is just exciting. You know, many of you might be looking at this and saying, well, it's just extruding some kind of liquid or some kind of plastic or whatever. Yes, that's what it's doing right now, but imagine the implications. Imagine what this means for 3D printing, the ability to print objects, because this is a basic design that's been put into the computer that's controlling this robot arm right now. But imagine having this robot arm cheap enough to be inside your home. So it's no different than a lamp. It's no bigger than, you know, something that you might have in your house right now. Now, right now, it's too big for the commercial, for the consumer use. But imagine them being able to scale this thing down so that it's not so big and it's not so intrusive. And you say, man, you know what I'm saying? I need a table. You know, I need about a 6-foot, 12-foot table. I need, you can put the dimensions in your computer, and this computer, this printer will print out an actual table right here, the size of it, using the materials you want, using colors and all that type of stuff. I mean, this thing is just going by leaps and bounds, and I'm telling you, right now is an exciting time to be a part of the technological age, because when you have things like that, you have 3D printers like that, I mean, there's just not much you can say about that. Now, coming up after the break, we're talking about, I mean, have you ever wanted to control an insect? We're bigger than them. We're stronger than them. So, have you ever wanted to be, have that robotic control over these animals? Well, a new Kickstarter project, and we're going to take you to that Kickstarter page. A new Kickstarter project allows you to control cockroaches. That's right, they're calling it the Robo-Roach. This thing allows you to control living, not dead, living cockroaches via your smartphone. So you're tired of those roaches invading and getting on your plates, whatnot? You can control them now, according to this project. We're going to show you that right after these messages.